Shalom again. This is me, Sarah Darlene, Love Herself, and this is part 59. And I was in the part before this. I was speaking of the time that I had went to visit a an individual who had converted some of Yahweh's property into a church, but it was a Christian church, and so I was furious. But anyway, she called me later to come and settle, our dispute, and to tell me that she's willing to move out, but she wants to know how much time was the court going to give her because I had court papers. And so uh, she, okay, backing up to when her son in the other part of the tape, number, was it 59, 58, her son and her, they locked me in the parking lot with a padlock on their gate. And so me and my children are standing there. And so they call the police, and the police comes up. The Levite, he comes up, and he comes up to slaughter me. So she's yelling furiously. Then she cussed at me, and she kept saying she was a pastor. She was the minister of the church. So yeah, as soon as she saw the cop come up, she just got louder. And so she tells him what's going on there in a loud voice, screaming. And then she says, "This woman," she's pointing her finger at me, waving her finger, said, "This woman is harassing the shit out of me." And she kept saying the shit out of me. And then I spoke and I said, "Do you hear her?" Profanity, I said to the officer. And so I said, "This woman is supposed to be of God." And I only came to tell her that the property will be back in the hands of Yahweh, and that there's a case in court that's pending. So I showed him the papers, and he says, "Well," he says, he has with his hand on his gun. He says, "She's so calm," as he was looking towards me in a stare, and he says, "And she's articulate," as though he was talking in third person. And he says, and she has the court's backing her, her reason for her visit. So he said, "These papers are legal," as he glanced through them. And so he said, "She's free to go." Oh boy, was that Jacob upset. So I eventually, I visit every piece of property that was a gift to the Lord Yahweh. So in that particular one, I got away in a hurry, and praise Yahweh, because of Yahweh for sure. But anyway, not the ones that were burnt down, not to the ground. I went by, but I was too heartbroken per se, to deal with it. But it was off on 17th and 15th near 67 Avenue. So anyway, it was very sad to see, and property was gone, and the fields were just trashed. And you could tell something, buildings had been standing there, but some bits of cement or whatever was left. So, but anyway, so before I visited Florida and filed those charges against the state, for those of you who don't know, well, Adam Ben Yahweh was arrested, per se, and charged. So at least that's what's on lookers, own lookers thought, because when the case finally went to their courts, they thought that they were unlocking the bars for Adam Ben Yahweh to come out and begin the trial, but he wasn't behind those bars because Pops, the Lord Yahweh, had replaced Adam Ben Yahweh with a look-alike, a mighty warrior of heaven with enormous strength and endurance. The twin look-alike, he had the powers to come and go when he pleased. So Adam Ben Yahweh was elsewhere, sipping on kosher gin and juice on Yahweh's ship Enterprise. So anyway, so the cops um, had angered the Lord Yahweh with their attempted killings of 13 more victims. So he had something for him. So the police officers pretended to be interested in being church members at one time with the YAHWEHs. So they dressed the part. Few of them were uh, white and some were black, some Latino, some Spanish. And so those particular policemen were being deceptive on the Lord's premises, planning a sting operation, you know, carefully planning to learn of what goes on in the inside of the Lord's establishments. So some corrupt cops looking for corruption, they went in pretending to be birds of a feather. So there were a few visiting swindlers, regular guests, who attend classes that were not cops, but you know, they were opportunists. But the cops, they weren't looking for petty troublemakers. They went in to start some grand theft trouble. You know, the legal thieves wanted to rob the YAHWEHs of their one-time $1 million property and plant some dirt on the YAHWEHs, on their clean reputation. You know, so they had no run-ins with the law, but you know, they were God-fearing people. So the members were, they loved the Lord, and so they were there to worship the Lord. Those who loved the Lord Yahweh. So even then, there was those that were visiting guests who were, like I said before, they were opportunists that was there, and there were capitalists who were there. Not the police, but some of the visiting, people that come to the congregation to visit, to fellowship. You could tell that they were there from poverty to riches. But anyway, they only went to the church like going to a seminar, since the Father Yahweh was teaching on how to move from poverty to riches. So those who jumped on that bandwagon, they jumped off when the cops raided, when that raid popped off. They were gone, poof, gone was the capitalist and the opportunist. They're learning somewhere else. So the visiting groupies headed for the hills. With no concern, of the trouble and the lies, the cops spread around town against God, the Father, and Son. So the Father and Son were left in mostly behind to fend for themselves, which was no problem for God, but the Son, it was just sad. But anyway, so I'll say a little bit more, but on this picture here, that's Miss Aaron still on the picture there that's posted with this video in front of the university off of 60th. And she's the one I went to go and visit for quite a bit, but she recently passed. Yahweh took her on. She's very stubborn. And so he just took her on. She's over on the other side of her stubbornness. On the other side of her. Be stubborn over there. Get off the property. Let us deal with this here. Yahweh says a gift is eternal. And this gift was to him from his loved ones. And so he wants to keep it, even though some say that he don't. Yes, he does. He wants his property, even if he's just going to take it home to home base heaven. He still wants it, So I went in there to fight for it. I no longer had to. Yahweh just took the woman. Bless her heart. She don't allow us anymore. I'm loving Sam. Please go to the next part.